Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. So, well, we all, in the Western media at least, are talking about LGBTQ issues, arson fires in Quebec. Yes, those are not lightning strikes. They've now arrested a bunch of arsonists. That's where those fires are coming from. We talk about the economy, Joe's latest foot in his mouth comment that he makes every day. Yesterday was hilarious, his speech. The transgesters, yeah, they are a joke. But that was his comment. Well, all those things are going on. The rest of the world is actually dealing with or making preparations for something a hell of a lot more serious. A couple of things came out overnight that are troublesome to think about if you actually have the attention span to pay attention, I'd say, if you will. What are the possibilities of going to war? And then my question is, what are your plans if it happens? Okay. A couple of things came out last night. First one, the Stockholm International Peace Research Institution released the numbers on nuclear weapons around the world. And unfortunately, what we're finding out is countries are increasing their amount of nuclear warheads. Okay. They have come up with, in 2023 now, combined between Russia, the United States, the United Kingdom, France, China, India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel, that there are a total of 12,512 warheads. It's 86 more than we had last year. 86 doesn't sound like a whole lot. I figure it only takes 3 to destroy the United States, probably, if they're large enough. Okay. We also don't know if they are conventional warheads or EMP warheads or whatever. But, yeah, that's something to concern yourself with. But I add this to the next part and what's going on. I don't have to tell you about what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. I think we've all been inundated with that over and over and over again. And we know that that could very quickly escalate into something a hell of a lot bigger. But the one that keeps getting forgotten about is China, Taiwan. And this is where you have a little bit of interesting problem. China is really starting to flex their muscle to the tune of 37 aircraft flying into Taiwanese airspace last Thursday. Okay. I mean, this isn't any more to go, oh, it was a mistake. The pilot crossed the border, if you will, because, I mean, borders aren't just on the land. They run straight up into the sky. 37 planes did it in a day. Okay. That's not an accident. That's a show of force. But on the other hand, you also have what the United States is doing. Now, mind you, for years we have kept about 20 military personnel on Taiwanese land, guarding our, if you will, unofficial embassy. Okay, because yes, we technically legally recognize Taiwan as part of China, even though backroom we all consider Taiwan a separate country. So we don't have an official embassy because Taiwan's not an official country. But we have now ramped that up, the United States has, to about 200 personnel. Okay, so, tenfold. About 80 of them being Army, the rest being Air Force, Navy, and they're there to train the Taiwanese military. What are they training the Taiwanese military on? Well, we sell Taiwan weaponry, which you've got to think how strange that is. China's our greatest foe in the world. I don't care what all the yahoos in Washington say. Russia's not our biggest threat. China is. But we recognize Taiwan as part of China legally, diplomatically. So we're technically selling China our military technology. Think about that. What does China do with everything they have? They reverse engineer it and they copy it. China doesn't create anything on their own. I mean, if it wasn't for stealing American technology, China'd still be a third world country, and everybody'd still be eating rice out of wooden bowls. That would be the rich people. So, what's going on? What are your plans? What happens if, to you, okay, not to the country, to you personally, what are your plans if a nuclear missile is set off over any of the, or sent to any of the places that were spied upon by the Chinese balloon earlier this year? Okay, what happens if a nuclear warhead goes off at the local military base, the local nuclear facility? What are your plans? Where are you going to go? Are you going to stay where you are? Are you going to bug out? To where? That's always the greatest question. I'm bugging out. Where are you going? I don't know. I'm just getting away from where I am. Okay, great. You're a refugee now. Okay. Do you have a plan in case war breaks out? I'm not talking about conventional war. Conventional war, if troops are in the streets or whatever, yeah, we all plan on pretty much defending what we have, and that's it. I'm talking about if we have full-scale thermonuclear war and the place that you're in isn't safe anymore. Give you the idea of Chernobyl. You get out, but you can't stay there anymore. Where are you going to go? Who do you know? One of the reasons that I encourage everybody to get to know each other here on the channel or whatever is because maybe you can find that underground railroad where you can get somewhere, to get to family in a different place, to get to like-minded people. How are you going to get there? Do you have a plan? Do you have a vehicle that could do it? Your 1992 Geo Metro is probably not going to make it too far, when roads have potholes in it and there's bodies and trash laying all over the highway. What are your plans? Have you ever thought about that as to where am I going to go? Who do I know? I mean, we all talk about gear and food, everything. But what are your connections is there a safe place for me to go? We all talk about building mags in our local area. Do you know people the next state over, the next time zone over? Because if something goes off, hypothetically, let's say in Chicago, and you need to get out, do you know people in Wisconsin? Do you know people in Minnesota? Oh, maybe you don't want to go that way because maybe they hit North Dakota too. Okay, do you know people in Indiana? Do you know people in Ohio? Even if it's through here. Have you made those connections? At least to a point where, I'm not saying, have street addresses and everything, but made those connections where, hey, if anything goes bad in your area, you can start heading this way. I'll help you out. If anything goes bad in my area, blah, 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 back and forth. Start doing that because quietly we're seeing a lot of things go on around the world that could lead to something a lot bigger, a lot faster than what company has decided to spray paint their rocking chairs on the porch in rainbow colors. Those are the important things to prep for, okay? We all talk about every time, watch what the right hand is doing because the left hand is just a charade, okay? Watch what the right hand is doing here. Pay attention to what's going on with these other countries. Pay attention to what's going on with buildups of nuclear arsenals. Pay attention to what's going on with military buildups of troops. We all know all the crap on the southern border, and everybody seems to be military-age men. And man, there seems to be a whole lot of Chinese coming across the southern border. You can say whatever you want, that they're escaping a bad economy over there, but it's not like our economy is all sunshine and rainbows. Well, rainbows is probably a bad way to put that, but that's my point. Start thinking about a plan for your escape route. Pinball out.